Oh no, that is what they all say when they see me pouring some wine. Oh, think it's empty again. Better fill it up before I go. Cause I'm loving it, feeling it, touch me and being it. See what I see, make them typical.
So then, what are we doing then with the base here? What do we decide on that? What do we plan?
We bought that wide baseboard.
Okay. So is this coming off then?
Yeah, we would take this off.
Just
It's
basically.
coming here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
And that's coming off.
Because we trim the closets out too with it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You know, we go up and around the closet, make it look nice. And,
Yeah.
what else I like is they went all the way wall to wall. You know, most people like the little kind of skip under the cabinet or whatever.
Yeah.
This guy did it all underneath, so everything's level.
Is this the first unit they did for
Yeah.
us?
First and only so far by Sherwin.
Cool. So then they're coming back. When are they back? A few more?
When are they back?
Yeah.
Whenever we get the next round of demos painted. We were kind of up to speed by the time we hired them on. So we had to do this unit because it was the only one we had left to do.
But she's saying this is a little different than the
I think
stuff
it is.
we've been-
Yeah, it's a little
bit.
It looks more.
CJ's just picked all the stuff. so-
It looks more wood-like. It looks really good.
This is like the most compatible as far as like what product they're using,
Yeah.
Yeah, I really
color-wise
like
and whatever.
that. I like that.
And if the vendor is that much easier to deal with, then
Oh,
we're not gonna have the issues we're having with those guys.
We
Yeah,
did
I
such a
think
good
we-
job.
I didn't even know they were done.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
So when will this one be ready?
This one needs cabinets now. I sent the list to John earlier this week.
we haven't had any cabinets delivered for any other units yet except the first four.
Yeah. That's our next thing, is to be able to stay ahead of that,
Yeah.
so that hopefully we can get these done like in a matter of a few days versus let's just have everything here, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully that's the process John can get going over. We can just turn these really quick.
Yeah. That's the goal.
I like it, I like this one.
He just did such a good job. It's just making a big difference.
Yeah. Cool.
This is it, right?
Wait, this is still the older phone.
This is the CJ line.
This is not, but this is not, it's not
This is the one we're using. Yeah. So
This-
Sherwin used that one just while they were waiting for this to come in apparently.
You see the difference. It's nice, but it's not like that one just looks. It just pops.
I like this one actually.
You do?
Yeah.
So the one going forward is the one upstairs, that's the one. Oh, this is what we had been using, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Well, we're
mine-
gonna keep doing this stuff.
That's
right?
my understanding,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Yeah.
They just had to order this
So
special
you like, you're
press.
just saying you like the
I
one.
like that.
I mean, they both look nice, so.
Is this leased already or no?
This one is not.
So this one got all new doors, all new bathroom door, all new hall door, closet door.
Yeah.
No, I don't think they're done.
Okay.
They just started today.
They did, okay.
So I was expecting them here, but they must have just left because they weren't in here. But yeah, the closet doors aren't
And
done.
they left paint on the door.
We took the top bar down.
So you think they're coming back in here?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So I did a whole new tub surround in here, put up all new green board, cut all that out, redid the whole thing fresh. Because they were putting this on top of the tile.
Mm-hmm.
So it was completely.
Doesn't
wrong.
have the problem underneath, yeah.
So this is the trim that we're putting on now.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the baseboard. And after it's caulked and painted, it looks, you know, it looks good around the closets, you know. Came out really, really good.
Cool.
And then we took out the upper, and then CJ's nice wide shelf was awesome because this board's 15 inches. And when you lower the cabinet, you have, look how high that other shelf was.
Yeah.
You can't really get anything up in it.
Yeah.
So I figured we clean it up, make it simple, keep the wide shelf, which is twice the size as what they had before, and then put in new rods.
Right.
So they have a bigger shelf, new rods, new doors.
Cool.
Yes, there's spots up here.
I got
so
ya.
they're gonna cut
Yep.
and move.
Okay. Cool. That'll look nice. You doing that this year? Or is it spring?
And it might be a spring.
Oh yeah.
But
We're doing the trees soon.
Yeah.
That'll be huge.
20 of them getting cut down.
Is it just 20?
30 maybe?
32. Yeah. I was like, did we change that?
Pop bottles laying around. It's like, you know, you don't realize the amount of management, the amount of effort that it takes your team. We're one driveway, so we never try to do the whole. We never try to go in and about this entire driveway and do the whole thing. I saw a bid to do the whole thing, and I think it was like 400 or something. Now, if we got more bids, obviously it would come down. It wouldn't be 400. But that being said, obviously, not 100% of the driveway is done. So instead of spending 300 to do a whole thing, 400, whatever, we're going to spend about 90 to cut out and replace certain parts. And so that's what I'm just going through right now to see what we're going to cut out. I just want to verify stuff and just see if there's any spots that they're recommending that I'm like, no, we can test on. So we're going to check that out. But being able to cut out, replace, and patch, and then go through seal coat and do new striping, it's just a way better decision with money, in my opinion. Because once again, if you just look at this driveway, like, you don't need to cut out, you don't need to rip up the entire thing. The properties that we've been buying, they've been typically trashed by the previous management companies. And once again, it's not stuff that you fix, like, you don't fix it overnight. There's some ownership groups, some management companies that they'll literally take all the money out of it. They won't, and they'll just distribute it to themselves or their partners, whatever. They won't take care of the asset, right? So I mean, look at these, like, there's dead trees. So we have about 32 trees that we're removing next week. At the same time, like, we have a long list of, you know, the wish list, right? But at the same time, we're focusing, and the first place we're going to put our money is a place that's going to really impact, you know, revenue and expenses. So we've really started to remodel a lot of apartments, partially or fully, to be able to raise the revenue. And we've also done things to, you know, start to lower some expenses as well. We've taken care of some water heaters, and we're going to probably make some investments into the boilers, make them a little bit more efficient, and be able to do some preventative maintenance on them to help us save money in the long run. But nothing, all this stuff, like, it doesn't just happen in one fell swoop. We don't like to do it that way. I don't like to do it that way. I'm sure there's groups that do. The reason being I don't like to do it that way is I don't want to just blow through a budget and then be like, oh, you know, like, now we messed up because we did something that really isn't going to impact the revenue and the expenses right away. And if you do things right away that don't impact the revenue or the expenses, and you don't have enough then in the budget to do the things that really impact the revenue and expenses, when you start sharing stuff with investors, when you start coming up short on, you know, distributions or whatever, it's a lot harder to explain that. And it just makes me a little bit less comfortable running an asset, right? I want to make sure that, obviously, yes, we want to provide an excellent living experience, but I also need, if we're in a business here, I need to make sure that our numbers are going in the right direction while we're taking care of it. So the way that we do things, it usually takes, you know, 24 to 36 months to get a property kind of up to our level or our expectation where it needs to be, because that's just how long it takes for some of the deferred maintenance and, you know, all this stuff. Because we're also, like I said, from day one, typically paying distributions to our investors. That's a little bit of, so for that, anyways, been in this project for 10 months, I think, 10 months, and just already it's drastically, I mean, it's drastically improved. Taking huge strides. When we took over, the dumpsters were, I mean, they were like old, rusted. There's a little bit of trash sitting there right now, like in the back, that people leave, that obviously we have, one of our guys goes through every day and tries to clean up as much trash as possible beginning and later in the day. But the actual dumpsters themselves, the ones that were here a year ago right now, they were completely like rusted out and just looked brutal. But this is another thing that's kind of on our wish list, is obviously we got to get some enclosures so that, you know, we can enclose those things off. Here's a tree that's going to be ripped out.
You said it cost $1,500 per tree? That's insane.
They're big. There's some big trees. I think per tree it was like average. I think it was 32 trees, and the average I think was like between 1,200 and 1,500. You know, some of the smaller ones being 800 removed, some of the bigger ones being. But you know, it's a one-time expense. It's gonna make things look just looks like crap, right? It's gonna make things look better around here. And obviously, that includes, you know, grinding down the stump and just, you know, a lot of times too, you can tell which units we've been in and which units we haven't by the blinds, because units that we haven't been in yet, there's still an initial tenant. The blinds are torn apart and trashed, which, you know, just takes time to fix. I'm gonna get up to the guys a little bit too, because like this side of the property where the office is, they're doing a good job of like picking up trash. We need to do that on the other side too, because the other side's not up to my expectations.
That's my mom. You want one?
Yeah.
You guys can help yourself.
Take one.
They're fruity pebbles.